Ladies and gentlemen, oh, they thought they were upgrading, didn't they? They had the gold shining bright in its purity, steady in its value, yet they discarded it for something that glittered for a moment, but dulled with time plastic. The world has become obsessed with the illusion of progress. The false promises of convenience and the appeal of instant gratification have led many to believe that the things that once held true value were nothing more than burdens of the past, something to be discarded for the new and shiny. They thought they were making a smarter choice, but in the end, they traded away what was real for what was fake. They traded the everlasting strength of gold for the fleeting illusion of plastic, and now they drown in their regret, not realizing that the foundation they stood on was crumbling beneath their feet as they grasped at the air. Gold has always been a symbol of truth. It has been a constant in a world that constantly changes. Its value is timeless, its strength unmatched, its worth undeniable. Yet many have allowed themselves to be blinded by the glare of something that shines only briefly. They were deceived by the smooth and light surface of plastic thinking. It was the answer to everything they thought it would make life easier. They believed it would bring them closer to the future, closer to a world that was more efficient and more manageable. Yet what they didn't understand was that the future isn't built on the false promises of the quick and the shallow. The future is built on the foundations of the things that have stood the test of time, the things that don't bend or break when the world around them does not, when the tides of change come crashing in. The world has tried to convince them that plastic was the way forward, but now they see the truth. The plastic fades, it weakens, and eventually it breaks down, leaving nothing of substance behind. When they first discarded the gold, they thought they were making progress. They thought they were stepping into a new age, an age where the rules were different, where the old ways no longer applied. But in their haste to throw away what had been established, what had stood for centuries, they failed to realize that the new had no real foundation to stand on. Plastic is a fleeting material. It's easy to mass produce. It's cheap. It's abundant. And for a time it was seen as the solution to every problem. But now, as they look around, they see that it was nothing more than a temporary fix, a quick replacement for something that could never be replaced. Gold was the foundation of many civilizations, the backbone of economies, and the standard by which everything else was measured. And yet, they traded it away for something that offered no real value, no real substance to hold on to. The mistake was in thinking that the future would be kind to them, that somehow the new would be better, without understanding the true cost of discarding the old. They traded away their principles, their integrity, and their sense of purpose for something that could be molded and shaped to look like anything they wanted it to look like. They sacrificed their roots for the sake of a future they couldn't even imagine. They became blind to the fact that true progress comes from building on what has come before, not in trying to tear it down in pursuit of a mirage. They looked at gold and saw it as outdated. They looked at plastic and saw it as the future, but now they see what they've lost and what they have left. What they failed to understand is that plastic was never meant to replace gold. It was never meant to take the place of something that was true and lasting. Plastic was only ever a temporary solution, something that served a purpose for a time, but was never meant to endure. Gold has always been the symbol of resilience, its worth, not only in its material value, but in the way it has been passed down through generations. Gold represents something that lasts, something that endures in the face of time's harshest trials. And yet they threw it away for something that promised convenience, but offered nothing of substance. They thought they were upgrading. They thought they were moving forward, but all they did was trade something that had real worth for something that could never truly stand the test of time. In the end, it is not the plastic that will carry them forward. It is the gold, the true value, the unshakable foundation of their beliefs and their integrity that will determine their future. The future is not built on what is easy or convenient. It is built on what is real, on what can withstand the trials of time, on what can be passed down from one generation to the next. What is built on plastic will crumble. What is built on gold will endure. And they have a choice. They can keep looking at the wreckage of their decisions and allow the regret to consume them, or they can choose to rise above it. They can choose to rebuild with the knowledge that their strength lies, not in the fleeting promises of the world around them, but in the unshakable foundations of what truly matters. The gold they discarded may never come back, but they can choose to bring back its value. They can choose to rebuild their lives, their societies, their futures on the principles that once made them strong, on the understanding that true progress is not about the newest or the shiniest. It is about the things that have been tested over time, the things that hold real value, and the things that are worth fighting for. They can choose to reject the plastic that surrounds them and instead return to the gold they once knew. They can choose to remember what they threw away and understand the price of their mistake. It is not too late, but it will only happen if they choose to change, if they choose to see the truth and act upon it. So let them drown in their regret. Let them face the consequences of their actions, but let them also learn from it. Let them understand that the choices they make today will echo for generations to come, and that the things they discard may never return. And in that realization, let them find the strength to rise again and rebuild on the foundations that have always been true. The gold is waiting for them to come back to it. It is waiting for them to recognize its worth and its value. It is waiting for them to stop chasing after the empty promises of plastic and start building a future that is grounded in what truly matters. Ladies and gentlemen, is not the shiny objects that reflect only fleeting glimpses of what we hope to attain. It's not the superficial allure of things that glitter but wither under the weight of time. What truly matters are the things that stand the test of time, the things that endure through every storm, every hardship, every trial of human existence. It's the quiet but unshakable foundation, the principles and values that guide us, that hold us together, and that keep us strong when everything else is falling apart. We live in a world that constantly tells us to seek the new, the better, the faster. We are told that innovation is everything, and that progress means discarding the old in favor of the new. And for a while, it seems true. After all, when a shiny new thing is offered to us, it's hard to ignore. It promises ease, it promises convenience, it promises a life of less struggle. But what we fail to realize is that innovation, progress, and convenience often come at a great cost, one that we may not see until it's too late. What truly matters is not found in the new, not in the plastic that was meant to replace the gold, but in the principles that have stood since the beginning of time. What matters is our integrity, our ability to remain steadfast, our courage to do what is right, even when it is hard, and our willingness to embrace the value of what is real, not what is flashy. When we cast aside these things in favor of something new, something trendy, we discard the very elements that have allowed us to thrive, to grow, and to endure. Consider the gold, the symbol of true value, strength, and purity. For centuries, civilizations have understood the worth of gold. It has been the measure of wealth, the standard of economies, and the symbol of what is precious. Gold doesn't fade. Gold doesn't lose its luster. Even after centuries of being buried deep in the earth, it retains its value. In a world full of impermanence, gold remains constant. It is the embodiment of stability, and when everything else collapses, gold is there, enduring, standing tall in its truth. But somewhere along the way, in our rush to keep up with the changing world, we began to overlook what gold represents. We started to see it as unnecessary, cumbersome, a relic of an older time, something we no longer needed. We turned to plastic, something lighter, something that promised more convenience, something that was easier to produce, cheaper to manufacture, and seemingly more efficient. It promised that we could have everything we wanted in an instant without considering the long-term consequences. And so, we embraced the false promise. We traded gold for plastic, something that would never stand the test of time, something that would eventually deteriorate and leave behind nothing of value. We allowed the world to convince us that plastic was enough, that it was the future. But now, as the dust settles and we look at the mess we've created, we realize how deeply mistaken we were. Plastic was never the answer. It was the temporary fix, the illusion that everything could be made easy and quick without thinking about the cost. It is the choice of convenience over substance. And now, we must face the fallout of that decision. In the aftermath, what truly matters is clear. What matters is the recognition that we cannot live in a world built on the illusion of plastic. We cannot build a future on things that were never meant to endure. The moment we traded our gold for plastic, we turned our backs on what was real, what was valuable, what could last. And now we are left to pick up the pieces, to rebuild, and to rediscover what we have lost. So, what is the way forward? How do we reclaim what we threw away? How do we rise from the ashes of our decisions and rebuild on the firm ground of what truly matters? The answer is not to continue down the same path, hoping that somehow this time will be different. The answer is not to keep searching for the next quick fix or the next shiny object that promises everything we want without the sacrifice. The answer lies in a return to the things that matter the most, the things that have always been with us and always will be. First, we must understand the importance of resilience. Gold, after all, is not just valuable because of its physical properties, but because of its ability to endure. Resilience is the ability to withstand adversity, to stand firm in the face of challenges, and to rise again after each fall. In a world that prizes speed and convenience, resilience is the one thing we must learn to value again. We must embrace the challenges, the struggles, and the hardships, knowing that they are not the end, but rather the beginning of growth. We must recognize that the true strength of any person, any society, any civilization lies not in how easily they can avoid struggle, but in how they rise above it. Secondly, we must rediscover our sense of integrity. Integrity is what keeps us grounded, what ensures that we do not bend or break when faced with temptation, when the world tries to push us away from what we know is right. When we traded gold for plastic, we gave up our integrity in favor of convenience. We must find our way back to the principles that have always guided us, the values that keep us aligned with our true purpose. These are not the principles that change with the seasons or with trends. These are the eternal values of honesty, honor, and courage. These are the values that shape the very core of who we are. Next, we must return to the understanding that what truly matters is not the fast or the easy, but the things that take time, that require effort, that are built over time. The best things in life are not instant. They are not quick fixes. They are the things that take patience, perseverance, and dedication. We must return to the idea of long-term vision, of seeing beyond the immediate rewards and looking at what we are building for the future. The quick wins of plastic will never compare to the lasting value of what is built with gold. And finally, we must learn to value the intangible things, the things that cannot be touched or measured, but that are the true foundations of a meaningful life. These are the things that go beyond material wealth, beyond external appearances, beyond fleeting desires. They are the things that bring purpose and meaning to our lives: love, connection, community, and the desire to do good in the world. These are the things that give our lives depth and make everything else worthwhile. They are the things that remain long after the plastic has faded and the gold has long since been buried. They are the true treasures of life. In reclaiming these values, in returning to what truly matters, we will find our way back to the gold we once discarded. The gold is not lost forever. It is waiting for us to remember its worth, to realize that it is what can carry us forward. The world may try to distract us with plastic, but we must see beyond the surface and recognize the true value of what endured. When we turn back to gold, we turn back to the things that are real, that are lasting, and that are worth holding on to. So, let us stop chasing after the empty promises of plastic. Let us stop believing that we can have everything we want without sacrifice. Let us stop living in the illusion that convenience is the answer to all our problems. Let us instead embrace the hard work, the struggle, the effort, and the dedication it takes to build something that lasts. Let us rediscover what truly matters: the gold of our values, the gold of our integrity, the gold of our resilience, and the gold of our love and purpose. In this way, we will not only reclaim what we lost, but we will build something stronger, something more meaningful than anything we could have ever imagined. And when the world looks back on what we have created, they will see that we did not build it on plastic, on illusion, or on the empty promises of the moment. We built it on gold, on the things that truly matter, the things that endure, and the things that will never fade. These are the pillars of human existence that withstand the erosion of time: the values we nurture, the integrity we protect, the resilience we embrace, the love we cultivate. They are the things that give our lives meaning, that make our struggles worthwhile, and that leave behind legacies far more precious than any fleeting material possession. These are the things that transcend the temporary, the things that persist in a world that is constantly changing, in a world that often seems to prioritize the quick, the easy, and the shallow over the deep, the lasting, and the profound. In a society obsessed with the next new thing, with the next fad or trend, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We become caught up in the race for more possessions, more recognition, more success, more convenience. We are told that these things will bring us happiness, fulfillment, and satisfaction. But the reality is that they only bring us emptiness. For the truth is, the things that truly matter are not the things that can be bought, sold, or measured by wealth. They cannot be acquired through shortcuts or instant gratification. These things are built slowly, carefully, and with purpose over time. They are cultivated through dedication, patience, and sacrifice. And when we invest ourselves in them, when we give them the attention and care they deserve, they become the very foundation of our existence. Let us take a moment to understand why these things that truly matter will never fade. They don't fade because they are not bound by the limitations of time and trends. They endure because they are rooted in something eternal, something that transcends the material and the transient. Love, for instance, is not something that fades with age, nor does it wither when circumstances change. Love is a force that, when truly given, only grows stronger with time. It is the bond that connects us to others, the thing that keeps us grounded, that gives us purpose and meaning. In a world where relationships are often seen as disposable, where love is often taken for granted, we must remember that love, when nurtured and cared for, does not fade. it endures. Consider also the value of integrity. Integrity is not something that can be seen or touched, but it is the foundation on which our character is built. It is the unwavering commitment to doing what is right, even when no one is watching. Integrity does not change with the winds of popular opinion. It does not bend when the pressure of society tells us to take shortcuts, to compromise, or to abandon our principles for the sake of convenience. Integrity remains steadfast and unyielding because it is grounded in something deeper than the surface of the world around us. It is grounded in a sense of self-respect and a commitment to living authentically. Integrity will never fade because it is the anchor that holds us firm in the midst of life's storms. Resilience is another quality that will never fade because it is a reflection of the human spirit's incredible capacity to adapt, to overcome, and to rise again. Resilience does not depend on the external circumstances we face. It is not determined by the challenges or setbacks we encounter. It is a force within us that enables us to face adversity with strength and grace. Resilience grows in the face of difficulty. It is born from hardship and nurtured through struggle. When we are knocked down, resilience is what helps us rise again. And when we stand up, we do not stand up weaker than before. We stand up stronger, more determined, and more capable of facing whatever comes next. Resilience does not fade because it is the very essence of our ability to survive and thrive, to push forward in the face of uncertainty and doubt. And then there is the pursuit of purpose. This is perhaps one of the most enduring aspects of the human experience. The quest for meaning in a world that often seems chaotic and indifferent. We are not born to simply exist. We are born with a drive to create, to contribute, and to leave something behind that matters. When we live with purpose, when we dedicate ourselves to something greater than ourselves, we tap into a source of strength and motivation that cannot be taken away. Purpose is what fuels us when the world seems dark. It is what helps us push through the hardest of times, knowing that we are working towards something that matters. And purpose does not fade, because it is the guiding light that directs us through the storm. Now, more than ever, we must hold tight to these things that will never fade. As we live in an age where plastic, in its many forms, dominates every corner of our lives, we must remember that the true treasures of life are not found in the latest technological gadget, the newest fashion, or the temporary pleasures that come and go. These things will eventually lose their shine, their luster will fade, and they will be replaced by something newer, something shinier, something that promises even more. But the things that truly matter, love, integrity, resilience, purpose, are the things that will never be replaced. They are the things that, when cultivated, will continue to enrich our lives long after the plastic has fallen apart. We are living in a time when instant gratification is the norm, where the next big thing is just around the corner, and where everything is disposable. But this culture of disposability does not lead to fulfillment. It leads to emptiness. It leads to regret. It leads to a society that feels increasingly disconnected, increasingly shallow, and increasingly lost. We have to stop chasing after the illusion of progress, the idea that newer is always better, and we have to return to the core of what truly matters. When we do this, we will find that there is nothing more rewarding, more fulfilling, and more enduring than living a life rooted in love, integrity, resilience, and purpose. But how do we begin to reclaim these things? How do we rebuild our lives on the gold that will never fade when the world around us is obsessed with plastic? The first step is to stop looking outside ourselves for fulfillment. We must stop seeking validation in things that are fleeting. We must stop letting the world define our worth based on our possessions, our status, or our appearances. These are all fleeting, and they will eventually disappoint us. Instead, we must look within. We must rediscover the core values that lie within us, the values that have always been there, waiting for us to remember. We must also begin to make conscious choices to live with intention. We must choose to spend our time, energy, and resources on the things that matter most. This means investing in our relationships, nurturing our personal growth, and dedicating ourselves to causes that align with our values. It means taking a stand for what is right, even when it's hard, and staying true to our principles, even when the world tries to tempt us to compromise. It means finding joy in the journey, not just in the destination, and understanding that the process of building something meaningful is just as important as the end result. And perhaps most importantly, we must be patient. The things that truly matter take time. They are not built overnight. They require dedication, persistence, and the willingness to endure hardship for the sake of something greater. But if we are willing to put in the work, if we are willing to commit ourselves to the long road, we will find that the rewards are far greater than anything plastic can ever offer. The things that will never fade are the things that endure, that grow stronger with time, and that become more precious the more we invest in them. In the end, the question we must ask ourselves is not whether we are winning or losing in the race for success or material wealth. The question is whether we are living a life that truly matters. Are we building something that will endure, something that will continue to give long after we are gone? Are we investing in the things that truly matter, things that cannot be bought, things that cannot be measured by any standard other than the depth of their impact on our lives and the lives of others? The choice is ours. We can continue to chase after the glittering plastic, the things that promise us everything and deliver nothing. Or we can choose to invest in the things that will never fade, things that are real, things that matter, and things that will continue to enrich our lives for generations to come. In the end, the true measure of a life well lived is not how much we accumulate, but how deeply we have loved, how steadfastly we have held to our values, and how much we have contributed to the betterment of the world around us. And as we embark on this journey, let us remember that what truly matters is not just what we give to the world, but what the world gives back to us. Because when we build our lives on the things that never fade, we build a future that is not only brighter, but also more meaningful, more enduring, and more impactful than we could ever imagine. Let us choose to invest in what lasts, for in the end, it is the gold that will never fade that will carry us forward and light the way for those who follow. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the path we choose today will shape the world we inherit tomorrow. The illusions of the moment, the glittering promises of quick fixes and easy rewards may captivate us for a time, but they are nothing more than passing distractions. The true wealth of our lives, the things that will endure long after the plastic has crumbled, lies in the values that we cultivate: love, integrity, resilience, and purpose. These are the treasures that cannot be measured by the fleeting standards of material success, but by the lasting impact they have on our hearts and on the world around us. We must recognize that the things that truly matter are often not the easiest to attain, nor the most immediately gratifying, but they are the ones that shape us into the people we are meant to become. They are the foundation of a life well lived, a life that contributes to the greater good and leaves behind a legacy far richer than any superficial success. The gold of our character, our principles, and our relationships will always shine brighter than the empty allure of plastic. It is time to stop chasing the fleeting, to stop sacrificing what is real for what is convenient. It is time to reclaim the gold we once discarded and build our lives upon a foundation that will not fade. We must remember that the things that endure, the things that are truly valuable, are often the ones that take time, dedication, and effort to cultivate. But in the end, They are the ones that will never fail us. They will remain steady, unshaken by the storms of life, and will carry us through the toughest of times. So, let us make the choice today to invest in what matters most. Let us choose to live with purpose, with integrity, with love, and with resilience. Let us choose to build lives that will stand the test of time, lives that will inspire others and leave a lasting imprint on the world. The gold that we have within us, the gold of our values, our principles, and our hearts, is worth far more than any fleeting pleasure or material possession. Let us hold on to that gold, and in doing so, create a future that is not only brighter, but richer in every sense of the word. We are the creators of our legacy, and the gold we choose to live by today will be the legacy we leave behind. It is never too late to turn back to what truly matters, to embrace the values that will never fade, and to build a life that stands as a testament to what is real, what is lasting, and what is truly valuable. Let us choose wisely, and let us build something that will endure, for the gold of our hearts, our actions, and our convictions will shine brighter than any plastic ever could.